All right. Hello and good morning, Miss Andrea. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. Andrea, I am super excited to talk to you here this morning because you have an incredible resume. Not only resume, but just looking at your work experience kind of speaks for itself here, but I don't want to speak for you. So if you don't mind, tell me a little bit about your professional experience, please.
Okay. Well, as you just stated, my name is Andrea. I've been working in the HR field for about 10 years. I have experience and exposure to all the departments of HR, so including recruiting, onboarding, classification, high volume, just working at a high volume pace with a lot of things. I'm used to working with a lot of different employees and having to manage their files and data. Um, I'm in school now working on my master's in HR management. So it's just a field that I'm very passionate about. And I think this administrative role would be a great opportunity for me to further expound on those skills that I currently have.
That is incredible. And thank you for that introduction, Andrea. Now, I have your resume also pulled up here, and I'm looking at a few roles. So tell me a little bit about your most recent role, because I know you just completed a assignment with us, Ronstadt, as a
Yes.
talent acquisition coordinator. Tell me about that.
So that was a really great opportunity that I had. I worked at the Walt Disney World, so it was a great opportunity to just be exposed to a company that's just on a very prestige level. I did work as a talent acquisition coordinator, as you stated, and that basically entailed a lot of coordinating with hiring leaders, working with upper management to coordinate interviews and scheduling and onboarding, and having to do reports in Excel as far as tracking how many things we did or how many candidates we processed per day. And also just mainly ensuring that the client had a great experience from the very beginning. So keeping them in the loop of any questions or concerns or complaints they might have had with timeliness, or just wondering what's going on. So just that was mainly my role. And then I worked in Workday at Walt Disney. So that's one HRIS system, one of many that I'm familiar with. And it was just a great chance to just be face to face with people, virtually, like now how we're doing, and just being a team player.
Absolutely. And again, thank you for sharing kind of what your day to day looked like as a talent acquisition specialist at Disney. Or is it, what was it called? Where'd you work at? I'm having a
Walt
brain
Disney.
fart here. Walt
Yeah,
Disney. That's right.
like
That's
Disney
right. I had
World.
a few other roles here, but because I was looking at your resume, but you've done a few other positions, right? So as you mentioned at the beginning of the call, you've done human resources, generalist prior to your talent acquisition role. You've been a agency operations specialist as well, and then dating back to HR administrator. So you're very skilled when it comes down to the administrative role, nonetheless. So we know that being a admin assistant or in the administrative role, there's a lot of multitasking.
Right.
Whether it's emails, you have calls, you have deadlines to meet. So how are you able to organize yourself throughout the day?
Well, I first like to ensure that I have an understanding of what the manager expects from me and what they need. So basically, if there's like a list of tasks or assignments, I inquire like what is most urgent, like what is it that you need done right now? And then from there, I'm able to kind of like navigate through the work tasks that I already have. I prioritize my work by what's most important. So even if I'm already working on something, if that's something that they need done right now, then I stop what I'm doing right away and then make sure to prioritize that. Usually when I enter into a role, it takes me a little bit of time just to get my own system going and just, understand their nuances and intricacies of what it is, how they work. And then once from there, I'm able to basically make my own type of timeline of what needs to be done, since a lot of things are usually deadline driven. Um, so like I said, I prioritize, like I usually work on things that are most needed. And then from there, I usually work like, okay, what is this I can do the fastest? But being meticulous with it as well, not just rushing through it just to get it done. Because especially with doing admin or HR or anything like that, it's a requirement to be very thorough and detail oriented. So I like to do that. And then from there, I just kind of go down the list. Like I usually have like a system set in place. So I like the next day, like I just know where I left off the previous day and what I need to work on.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that too. I was going to respond with, you definitely have a system in place with, organizing yourself throughout the day, prioritizing, checking in with your manager. What do you need as a priority? I will tackle that first. So definitely sounds like you have your system in place. Now discussing systems, I want to know you mentioned Workday, right, for HRIS systems, but what are some other systems that you are familiar with using?
Ooh, where do you want me to start?
So you can even start perhaps Microsoft, Google, and then kind of bring it down from there.
Okay. Microsoft operating system, Mac operating system, for HRIS, Bamboo, Workday, Salesforce, iSIMS. I've worked in just Paycom. I've worked in just about all of them. So I have familiar ADP, the big ones, UltiPro.
Yes.
I've worked in just about every HR system there is. I've worked in it, Brass Ring, applicant tracking systems, Greenhouse, Lever, SAP, success factors. In 10 years, I've just about done it all.
Awesome.
I've seen about the revolution of all of them, from like UltiPro to UKG Pro. So
Yes.
NeoGov, like I can just I can just go on and on.
I love that. I love that. You're very, very skilled. You didn't mention one. Now you did say Microsoft, but Excel, right? Are you proficient in Excel?
Yes.
Can you enter or tell me a little about that?
Yes. So in my last position, like I said, I did have to use Excel. And also in my previous roles, like as an HR administrator and agency operations specialist, we did have to use Excel a lot as a method to like perform mathematical functions. So I'm familiar with that, pivot tables, code inserting like functions, like I said, in the cell. So it'll basically kind of like do the math or like the financial portion itself. So I am familiar with that as well.
Awesome, awesome. You are very, very skilled here, Andrea. That's why I'm super excited to talk to you here. Now, I want to ask you a question because I know, just going based off, your resume, your experience, speaking to you, you've been doing HR, talent acquisition for a little while here. What is it about this role being more, administrative in more of a, what we say, construction-like industry? What is it about this role that ultimately caught your attention?
What is about the role that caught my attention is just the opportunity to be in a new environment. Like I said, I feel like even though I'm so heavily HR based, like I'm not too far along to where I feel like any position is beneath me. Like I'm willing to do anything just because everything is an opportunity to learn something new, regardless of the field. So, and I was also very attracted to the fact that I would have an opportunity to be more face to face with customers because in my previous role, it was kind of more remote. So I did like the idea of actually being able to like interact with people face to face and provide that experience, that customer or employee experience that way. And then also I did like the financial aspect of it too, of being able to work more in Excel, because that's definitely one application that while I am knowledgeable, I feel like I can always learn more, especially when it comes to math, because it's so necessary in HR, like especially when you get into like budgeting and things of that nature, classification and pay metrics and things of that nature. So it just seemed like a very well-rounded opportunity. I would have an opportunity to get my hands into a lot of different things and mainly just be face to face. I love people. I love making people laugh, like and more than that, I love being an asset and helping where I can and when I can.
Such an amazing response, and I appreciate you for that. Well, Andrea, just want to ask you one final question here, but as far as starting a new position, what is your timeline for example, if given an offer, how soon can you start?
Tomorrow.
Awesome. So I would assume if my client is interested in proceeding with an interview, would you be available at any day or any particular time?
Yes, I have open availability the rest of this week. From what you shared, I'm not up too far from where the client is. I stay about 10-15 minutes from where I would need to go. So I'm available.
Incredible. Well, that sounds amazing. Andrea, I just want to thank you again for the time that you spent with me this morning. I am going to go ahead and wrap up this interview, but if you don't mind staying on the line with me really quickly, I want to chat with you.
Okay.
Thank you.